Hello and welcome back to Creativity with Don Allen Third Live. Today we're jumping into a brand new tool in the creative pipeline called OpenMagic. They have this ability to create very friendly VFX with like templates, and I think I'll be able to start making some templates for them based off of some of my existing work. So I think it should be pretty cool. We'll be going down the rabbit hole. I'll show you a little bit about what OpenMagic is about. You'll learn a little bit about how I will approach trying to make a template. I haven't read any of their documentation, so I'm just going to guess at first, but it's likely that I'll need a couple of tries before I really get how to make templates. But here's the idea. You see these like videos that have these cool VFX? Well, the way this tool works called OpenMagic is you'll be able to just not have a VFX background and use this template and replace your image or your 3D model or your product. You can replace it right there. So like essentially this is like a piece of geometry that I would make in like Cinema 4D or After Effects, and then that template would allow anybody who uses OpenMagic on the platform, they'll be able to make VFX videos using their tool. So let's say you already have an image of your artwork or your ad or your product for e-commerce. You don't need the VFX background to make this kind of post anymore. Instead, people like me will make VFX templates that I share on OpenMagic, and then I think I might get a commission or something if people use my templates. So I'm going to go about the process tonight of trying to make my first template to submit to the OpenMagic team. I think they're supposed to send me some documentation on how to do it, but I have a theory on what needs to be done, and I'm just going to attempt it. So yeah, welcome to the stream. We'll see how this goes. Yeah, Codizzle says this is neat. Yeah, it's really cool. Here's actually a closer look at what their stuff is. Like, let me give you some other visual examples. So like, look at this video. So like, that's a template, right? Like this VFX video. And then this could be virtually any piece of geometry with a physics simulation baked out. And then I would send that to their team, and then their app will make it so that anyone could upload their own image, and it would swap it out, but give you that exact video. I think they were, exploring some other cutting edge tools. Like, look, here's another example. So, I could 3D model something like this and have it animate in on top of footage that I've already captured. Daria says, I'm on the waiting list. Okay, cool. Let me move your comments down here so I can see you in the chat. There we go. Oh, that's perfect. If I can have you right down there. Okay. So you can get the idea of, what their content, I think, aims to do. Here's another example. I could put some random objects, but the key is you want to make stuff that people are interested in using. And I just so happen to have a large set of video clips that I've captured over the years with the intention of adding VFX over them. And I'm kind of like, wait, this is perfect timing. I could make templates and like, look at how cool this is. Like even like reflections and stuff in the ground will work with their tool. But this is a template. You could swap anything in there. Yeah, here's another flag example. So I think they want me to help make them some templates, given my VFX background. I'll probably use Adobe After Effects or Cinema 4D. And then, oh yeah, here's the behind the scenes. So soon they're going to even allow you to upload an image, and their AI will generate a 3D model for you and place it in the template. Think about that. So that means if you had a photograph of your product that you wanted to have into the scene, you would just go to their website, upload the single image of your product. Their AI would turn that into a 3D model and place it into a template. Do one in a park. Oh, actually, I'll show you. I prepared some footage beforehand. I went through a bunch of clips of mine that I thought might be useful. So let me show you those. So these are clips that I've actually captured over the years. And there's some of the ideas of different things. So I capture stuff when I'm flying on planes out of the window, and I was thinking, that might be a cool thing to have, like your product over there. Here's another one I captured when I was in Yosemite. I thought it might be cool to maybe place like something could be coming out of the wall here, like out of the cliff face. That might be like a cool experience. Let's see. I have this one. I'm going to mute the audio, but this is when I was in Mexico, and I filmed this from the hotel room. And I was thinking I could put like some luxury products could be floating in the sky over there. So these are some of the ideas I'm thinking about making for OpenMagic templates. Here's another one. This one's really works because I can probably 3D track my camera movement. and then use that to establish a plane, or maybe even put something on the wing of the airplane. Like there's endless possibilities, and so I could use my footage that I've captured, and then I'm gonna turn some of these into templates that people on OpenMagic will be able to use, and then myself as a VFX artist can actually earn credits, or not even credits. I haven't looked at any of the deal stuff yet, but I think I can earn money from people who reuse my templates. Here's another one I filmed in the passenger seat of a car. I just thought the blue screen, I could use the blue sky, like a blue screen, and key it out and place 3D objects back there. And there's enough contrast that I think I'll be able to do some solid 3D camera tracking. But again, this is all footage that I've filmed over the years. I mean, you can see the dates, 2024, 2022. I've been filming these things for years with the intentions of doing VFX with them. And it's kind of like magic that OpenMagic would reach out and be like, hey, we have a thing that needs exactly that, right? So here's some more footage. This is when I was in Italy. I was thinking of starting the clip right around here, like the camera pushing through this old restaurant and then revealing out to this big vista. I think that might be a really cool shot. Here's some on the water. I try to do stuff that I didn't see already on their website or on their Instagram page so that people would have a reason to use my templates. Here's another footage. I thought, you'll see. So I just have all these different shots to work with. Here's a nighttime shot because I didn't see a lot of stuff at night. So I could show you how I would approach making a template for nighttime. I liked these clouds because I can probably use masking technology and put stuff behind the clouds that then reveals itself, as the camera goes by. So yeah, that's kind of the idea. So I think the easiest shot for me to work with might be maybe this one. It's 21 seconds long. There's a lot of pretty stable footage for me to track, so I'm gonna try to work with this footage. All right, so let's begin the process. And if you have questions, feel free to ask. Thanks to everyone for joining the stream today. Daria says I'm on the waiting list. Oh yes, very neat indeed. Okay, cool. Yeah, so welcome to the stream. Let's get right to it. So I have Adobe After Effects open here somewhere. There we go. Here's Adobe After Effects. And you can skip this part if you don't want the technical stuff. You don't have to watch this part. But since I'm someone that wants to use my VFX abilities to make templates for other people to tell their own stories, I'm showing you how I think I'm going to approach doing this template. If I had to give it a high-level overview, I'm going to start with Adobe After Effects. I'm going to do a 3D camera track solver. I'm going to add some planes of geometry. Then I'm going to export that data into Cinema 4D to place a bit more complicated geometry for like maybe shadow catching and whatnot. And then I'll bring that geometry back into After Effects, try to do some compositing, and we'll see. That's loosely what I have in my mind as my workflow. So here we go. Let's go ahead and start off by importing our footage into Adobe After Effects. I'm going to right-click on it and choose New Composition from Selection. Now, as I scroll through the footage, things look fine. One of the first things you want to do with this kind of technique is mask out things that might confuse a 3D tracker. In my experiences of doing VFX with After Effects, I find that my 3D tracks, sometimes don't always solve right away when there's too much movement in the foreground. But let's just see if it works even if we did nothing. So I'm going to go to my tracker. There's lots of different options. The one I'm thinking of using is called Track Camera because it tries to estimate the position of the camera in space. So I'm going to click on Track Camera, and now it's going to try to analyze this footage. Now the footage is only 21 seconds long, so it's not going to take very long to track. It's got 620 frames, and you can kind of see it calculating. Now there is a chance that it's going to analyze this background only to realize that the footage is not trackable. And if that happens, here's my solve for how I'll fix that. Because this has happened to me hundreds of times. The solve is to draw a mask that only reveals the area that you want to track. In this case, it's just the footage within the window. So I would draw a mask in here and then roughly animate that mask to only show footage of the outside, essentially not showing this like outside ring. not showing that at all. And then run the 3D solver. Usually that would fix it because this 3D solver tries to estimate the camera movement, and if it sees too much stuff moving in the foreground, the AI can't interpolate where the camera is in space. All that's to say, we want to make it less confusing to solve, and if we isolate just the areas that we want to track and hide the areas that we don't want to track, it will assist in making it easier for the AI to guess the camera's movement. And that's only if the quick turnaround of running this through the solver doesn't work. Sometimes you're in luck and the 3D camera tracker, it might just work. It might just work right off the bat, and that would be great. But I have a feeling that we're going to get to like 99%, 100%, and then it's going to start solving, and then it's going to say unable to solve. If it does that, I've told you ahead of time what the fix is. So actually, you know what? Let me see if I can find any documentation while I'm waiting for this to solve. Let me pull it up on a separate window over somewhere. Let's see, separate window. Let me grab this window, go off screen. Let me see, maybe they emailed me some documentation. That would be very helpful. Let me search Open Magic. Let's see, Open Magic. I don't see. Nope. Yeah, I don't see any documentation there. Maybe they sent me a message online. We still got a few more frames here. It's 67% solved, so give me a second to check if they shared with me any documentation. I'm just going to message them on WhatsApp and ask if they have any documentation for me to refer to. So where are you? There's Open Magic. Oh, just added you so we can move. Oh, great. All right, start with your template as a okay. You can make it. Just keep in mind there are 3 types of input. Okay. Image. Video 9:16. Okay. Text. Oh, there's a document here. Great. We will add your template to the Open Magic platform, and then we can do oh, that's great. See. Meanwhile, let me know if you have any questions. If you want to call. Hey friends, I'm doing a live stream right now, going through the process of creating a template for your platform, period. I'm doing a live stream, and if you have any documentation I can refer to, that would be great. If not, no worries. This is just my first test at trying to make a template without knowing what your documentation is, period. Have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay, so I just messaged their team. Oh, Jitesh is here. Oh, and Ander, and Singh writes, Sir, hey, sir, what are we up to? Okay, there's a new app coming out, or it's already out. It's called Open Magic, and they're allowing people to generate VFX footage with like real 3D stuff in a very friendly, very, very friendly interface. I mean, we're talking, let me see if I can find the clip here. Open Magic, like the interface is, someone, let me go, OPN, Open Magic. This is the interface. So people will do step 1 where they choose, I went back a frame and go back forward, refresh. I don't know. Oh, there's back page. Okay. So you would start off choosing a template. So let's say you liked this, template and you want your image to be up there, or you want your 3D object to be here. You would select your template. Then you would upload an image of your product. So let's say this was your product. You can click on that, and then it will start generating a video. And when it's done, it will email you the result, which will show you your 3D object in there. So like it expedites the VFX creation process like dramatically to make social content. I think there's a focus on e-commerce right now because I think there's a lot of people are making products and things, and they want to feature their products in cool 3D ways, but they may not have budgets. Like usually they don't, or they don't have the time to like make custom VFX. So what Open Magic has is it's in closed beta right now. Open Magic is in closed beta, inviting a limited number of users to explore our platform. So I'm one of those users. Fill out our form below to request access. We'll notify you. So yeah, actually, if you want to if you have 3D background and VFX skills, you can ask if you want to be someone who makes templates for them. Show off your 3D work. If you have 3D background in Blender or Cinema 4D, I think they can work with that. Daria says, when is it open to everyone? No idea. They don't tell me specifics like that. So Daria, I would encourage you to sign up for it too. Or if you're interested, because I think they can give you early access if you have 3D background and are, interested in making cool stuff. I think that's on the table, but they'll probably need to see your work and make sure that, you can do 3D stuff. But in the meantime, users can start to make videos with it. And yeah. So there's some cool stuff there. It's not a plugin yet. You have to say period. What do you mean? What app is this called? PC for Insta? It's neither. It's a web app. OpenMagic works on the web for now. But I'm using Adobe After Effects to start that process. So it looks like we got an analysis solve failed. No worries. I mentioned that was a possibility, and I will show you how I'll go about trying to fix this, because I need to extrapolate 3D data from this footage. The other way is to use apps like Camtrack AR, which is an iPhone app that actually tracks the 3D data while you're filming. But since I didn't think about that at the time of filming all these real world locations, I don't have that data yet. So I actually have to extrapolate the 3D data for OpenMagic, which is fun. It's just, it's a new challenge. So let me go ahead and delete this. I'm going to draw a mask, literally just a circle or an oval. Let's do like an oval. And then we're going to take this mask and take the position of that mask, also known as the mask path. And what I'm going to do is kind of just periodically move, scale, and reposition the mask so that at any given time, it's only revealing the contents inside the window. So as I'm scrolling here, I might need to move that mask like up and around over here. Kind of make that mask a little bit smaller. It's going to look really weird for a moment, but I kind of just need to create, I think the edges of the plane were confusing the tracking solver. And I think if I remove that data, it will help the AI model understand the camera movement of the world around, which is what I'm trying to track to. And then let's see, I could go right about here. Maybe we'll move the footage there a little bit. Maybe scale this down a little hair. There we go. Cool. And then we'll go here and just move that mask. All right. So if we did this properly, this little window is only showing footage now of what was inside the window and not so much the edges. There's a few little hiccup areas like right here, which I'll just kind of nudge. But the key idea here is that, if I turn off the background, see how this is, I know it looks like almost the same, like it's just, whatever footage, but we can always recombine our footage afterwards, removing that mask like this. And so we'll have these two separate shots. So we'll have the shot of the window that's safe and not moving, and we can then later recomposite this on top of the footage that has the outer edges. We got a question from Jitesh Singh, says, I meant, what are you using to stream your PC to Instagram Live? If you log into Instagram from a web browser, some people, it should be a lot of creators now that have their account set to business or creator, can stream directly to Instagram from their desktop or their laptop. So I have access to that. So you can log into Instagram from the web browser, and then there's ability to upload content from the web browser. And one of the upload functions is the ability to start a live stream, which then asks which streaming software you would like to use. In my case, I'm using OBS Studio, Open Broadcast Software. OBS Studio is free, and it lets you stream from your desktop to anything. So you can have multiple cameras. So I just have one camera on right now with a green screen behind me, but you could have multiple cameras. You can make anything. We got a question from Luke, says, I've just arrived and I'm eager to explore how we can enhance the tool stack with practical applications of OpenMagic. Go to I would say just check out their Instagram. I think right now their focus is like making it easier for people like that are generating e-commerce videos. So, you know, for me, this already enhances my tool stack because I have all this footage that I always wanted to make VFX with. And now if I build it as a template, I'll be able to see lots of other people's creativity, like imaginations of what they would do with the shot. Especially because it will support 3D animations pretty soon, I think. Or maybe, you know what, it might already support 3D animations now. I'll need to double check, of course, on the template side. But yeah, I think the industry will have to decide how it's useful. XLuck Max says, are we supposed to be seeing the footage now? What do you mean? Oh, interesting. Is it not streaming? Oh, whoa. Oh, wait, no, yeah. I'm on the right. Wait, you're right. There's something wrong. Weird. I'm getting an error on my streaming software. It's not updating. Let me turn that off and on. I can move the streaming software. Sorry about that. Good call out. Let me try this one. I don't know what it's doing. I don't know why it won't. Let me try to re-stream the stream. So do new Mac OS screen capture. We'll do hit the new button. Okay, that one looks good. I'll set this to the other screen. Hit OK. All right, so now that's the new screen. Sorry about that. I'm just going to resize my window here. Good call out. Sorry about that. I was like highlighting things and probably weren't seeing it, and I apologize. There we go. Make it a little bit smaller so I can fit a little bit more of After Effects interface into the view here. Okay, there we go. Cool. So this should be updating in real time now. Sorry about that. Thank you so much for the call out. Luke writes, maybe more VFX on websites/apps. I think it just makes easier to make VFX content on social media without having the technical background of doing VFX. I think that might be their main goal. Okay, so with this transparent video, I'm gonna go to Pre-Compose and save this as a single video. And so now that just kind of bakes everything. That bakes everything down. It looks like it did not bake everything down. Let me try this again. So we'll go to this object, right click, Pre-Compose. I'm going to choose Move All Attributes to a new composition. I'm going to say Ready to Track. Yeah, as soon as you have the 3D data, I mean, you can have so much fun with this as a template. All right, so let's see if we can track it now. So I'm going to click on Track Camera. And so now it's going to try to resolve the camera's movement. What I've done with this is I've masked out all the areas of the frame that I think are confusing the model. So now the only area that I'm mostly showing is within that circle. And in that circle, or ellipses, everything in here is the only motion that I want it to think about. And so by masking out the edges of the plane window, I'm thinking this might fix the issue and solve the tracking. And if we have a solved track, I'll be able to start doing all sorts of cool magic things. Jitesh Singh says, that's crazy. It is crazy. XLuck Mac writes, prayer hands, thumbs up, thumbs up. Jitesh writes, are you planning to track the wing or the ground in the footage? I'm going to try to do both. But actually, that's a great point. I might even need to remove the wing. I think it's going to work now. Fingers crossed. It should work now just because the data is cleaner. There's less stuff for it to get confused about. I think this will work. If not, we might have to remove the wing and then track the footage. And we'll see. I just have to test it out. The other option too is you can boost the contrast of the footage, pre-compose it as a layer, and then track that version. That's been one of my third and final tricks to trying to get the data that I need. Otherwise, if those three techniques don't work, I might use a different shot. That's a good question though. Okay, so it's halfway done. Just gotta wait for it to do its thing. Oh, weird. It looks like the comment section is also not responding. That's so bizarre. Let me delete that. Wow, it's weird. It's like everything froze there. All right, I'm just going to duplicate Capture 6. Right click and transform, order, add. There's not a duplicate button. Copy, paste. No? Surprised they don't have just a duplicate button. Properties. Shoot. All right, I just got to add another capture. So we'll go to Mac Screen Capture. New. I don't see it. Okay, and then do window capture. No, not window capture. App. No, not either. Neither of these. Let's do studio capture. Great. Hit OK, and then I gotta send that footage to the back of the tech stack. Is that not it? Oh, wrong layer. Oh, that's it right there, isn't it? Sorry about that. Sorry, I'm like moving all these frames around in hopes that this fixes something. There we go. So now I can have the comment section down there behind the chat. It's always a pain point of not being able to capture the comments after a stream. So I had to invent this method to capture the comments post-stream on Instagram. There we go. Okay, cool. Oh, it worked. I don't see it working, but it looks like it's solved. I don't see, where's the render track point? Oh, there it is. No depth from the pan solve. Okay, that's a bummer. So these X's, it did track something, but they don't look all that 3D. Let me increase the track size. So all of these X's, wow, this is so weird. It's almost like there's not enough depth data. I guess it's treating everything like a 2D plane, and that will not work for my workflow. I actually need to get 3D data. So this might not be the right approach. This would work for me in like making a VFX video, but since I need to make an actual 3D template for OpenMagic, this won't work. My volume reduced. Testing. Is the volume better now? Oh, weird. I must have had a double audio layer. Testing. Testing now. 1, 2. I must have turned off a layer. Sorry about that. Is the audio better, Jutesh? Okay, yes. Okay, cool. Thank you. All right, so we got this here doing its thing. Unfortunately, this is not going to cut it. I need better data. So luckily, I have all those other footage bits. So I might have to start off with a different take. So there's this take. I mean, this one's definitely going to work. So let me just go with one I know is going to be like actually working. So we're going to go back to our project. I'm just going to try a different shot. I'm going to bring this into After Effects, right click on it, new composition from selection. I'm not going to make any changes. The reason why I know this shot's going to work is because the camera movement is subtle enough that I think it's going to extrapolate the 3D movement. So again, we're going to go to track camera, and then it will start to track the shot. This one should be very fast. It's only 14 seconds long. And I like that there's like waves and stuff, so I could, I could see a world where we could replace the sound design. Better when you're face here. Oh, sorry. Yeah, because my microphone's right here. So maybe I'll just get the microphone really close. Extra close. This should be much better audio. Testing 1 2 1 2. 1 2 testing. Is this the best audio now? In a world where the microphone is right up in my face. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Better when you face here. Okay, I think the audio should be really good now. So just let me know if it is. All right, so we now have, oh, it's like ASMR. Oh, geez, that's maybe too intense. Sorry about that. Okay, so you see how this works now? Now, when my cursor, I'll zoom in. Now when my cursor moves over the footage, see how it snaps to the nearest 3 points? This is how you know a plane is being detected. If there's a plane, that means we can extrapolate 3D movement. Versus the other shot, the only plane we were getting was the same plane, like this. See how everything's always flat? It was treating the whole shot like a 2D image. So I could only track 2D things like this. But in the new shot, the plane is moving in Z depth. It gets smaller when I move far away, and it gets larger when I get close to the camera. That data is all that we need. So let's make it more magical. I'm going to go to render the track points, and I'm going to increase the point size so we can see them. Then I'm going to just kind of move the screen around a little bit. Camera, there's a little delay happening on my end, but I think it's working. What's the difference in camera tracking and motion tracking in AE? Great question. Motion tracking is for more 2D stuff. So if you needed, like, for example, my hand, if I needed to have like a little 2D animation that linked to my ring's position, I would use motion tracking and just track the motion of my hand. But if my hand was going to move forward and back from the camera, I would probably prefer to do track camera, because it's 3D. Think of like the camera movement. If it's moving in the third dimension, you want to track camera. But if the thing that you're trying to track is only moving in 2 dimensions, like on the screen, then I would use track motion. Since we need 3D data, I need to use track camera. All right, so what's so cool is they have this tool that lets you select all of your favorite points, and then it averages the plane based off of that with that target. Then we right click and click on set ground plane and origin. This is so important because when you go to load this into 3D programs like Blender or Cinema 4D, sorry, my nerve pain's acting up a little bit. When you go to load this into Cinema 4D or Blender, it's going to use this as the ground zero of like where things load in. When I load in a cube into my scene, it's going to load at the origin. If you do not set this in After Effects, it's just going to be a nightmare. You load up a 3D object and it can appear anywhere in space, which is usually not the spot that you want it to. So I always start off by setting the ground plane and origin. Then I right click again and I create a solid and a camera. What this does is it places an object, in this case this little pink plane, it places it in the world. And see how it stays put as the camera moves? I'll go ahead and I'll hit the play button. See how as the camera's moving, that plane stays locked. That is real 3D data. We can do quite a lot of work with this. I have a few more elements I want to work on before wrapping this part up, but this is the key one, is getting a plane to track to the ground, and it lives in 3D space as it shows there. All right, that was the first step. Next step, we're going to go back to our footage and add more things to track. So if you increase the target size, the track size, the track point size, if we increase it even more, we'll be able to eventually, hopefully, see points on that back. Wow, I'm surprised. I was hoping to see points on that back mountain. I don't really see them though. Maybe for a brief moment. Oh, there we go. See these? I wanted to try to track that. I guess the closest we can get is a variable in between the 3 of them. Let me see. There's got to be a world where we tracked that a little bit better. I'll work with what we got. All right, so I think the only shot that's closest is these. There's 3 points. You need 3 points to make a plane. But unfortunately, that red target is in between the cliff mountain thing and this little terrace. So, that works. Go ahead and right-click, create a solid. And that's going to load a little piece of geometry there that just floats in space. To make it easier to work with, I'm going to select that new solid and then just rotate it towards the camera as best as I can. Pointing that blue arrow towards the camera is the key. Maybe rotate it this way, maybe twist a little bit that way. Too much, let's go back this way, tilt up, tilt down, tilt to the left. Cool. So now you can see, now you can see that plane is tracking there. And I know that that object is going to be in between our worlds. Great. All right, I'm going to turn off the point tracker now. We don't need it anymore. So I grab the footage, I turn off render track points. I'm just going to turn that off. And now we have just this, which is great. We have a space over there that's tracked nicely. And because it's real 3D data, we can actually move this around in 3D space. And what's so important is that it's locked in 3D space. What's cool now is we could duplicate that layer and move one, move a copy of this in 3D space again. So I'm going to slide this one forward and maybe slide it to the side to create that kind of parallax look. And you can see how that thing stays put. I'm going to change the color of that solid if I can. I think we can manually add some tracking points, no? You can. You can. But I think it needs to at least have them highlightable. If they're not highlightable, let me check my theory on that. I thought you needed to have it highlightable, but let me see. I could be wrong. Yeah, I don't see any points. I know you can like select your favorites like this, but I need to have 3. Oh, I guess technically there's 3 on there. So 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah, as long as you have 3, it takes 3 points to make a surface. So since there's 3 points on there, I can right click and create a solid. Thank you for calling that out. Excellent call out, Jitesh. So now we do have a solid that is on the rock. And then we have these extra solids that are in between the rock. And then we have this one that is on our plane. So I'm just going to make this a little bit larger. Great. So now we have, for the most part, reconstructed loosely 3 polygons of like what the plane surface might be. I sometimes also will expand some of these just so I know the shape of the thing that I'm working on. But I would say we're good. Let's just preview the footage and make sure that it's tracking the whole time through. So I'm just going to hit the play button. And what I'm looking for is any time that it might break. It's looking good so far. The planes are staying put. Hey, I think we're good. Okay, so now how do we turn this into 3D data that we can use outside of After Effects? The key is to first save the work. So I'm going to go to Save. And then I'm going to go to Save As. And I'm going to save this into a folder designed for this project. So I have a folder called Open Magic. I'm going to make a new folder and call this cliff_water. And then we'll save this into cliff_water. So now that the After Effects file is saved, we can proceed to the next step, which is to go to File, Export, and then this is my secret. If you have that 3D camera data and you've set the ground plane and origin, you'll have the ability to export this as a Cinema 4D file. It will respect those 3 solids that we made and allow you to start using them for something. If you don't use Cinema 4D, no worries. There is a plugin for Blender that can take this same file and convert it into a thing that you can use in Blender. I don't have a good Blender background, so I don't use Blender. But if you have a skilled Blender background, this is the key. You get this file format, convert it to something that opens in Blender, and then you can proceed with your 3D workflow from there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and open that. Export that Cinema 4D file. And it's going to save to the same location that we had just saved our After Effects file. So they're going to be in the same spot. So that's why you want to save first before you do this step, because then it's going to be great. Jitesh says, yeah, you can get a silhouette from here. More work here could mean less 3D software to do blocking mountains and 3D objects. Bingo. That's my plan. So I like filming blue skies because I treat them like blue screens when I'm going into compositing. Okay, you're always going to see this error. At least for me, I always see the error. It's never been an issue, so I just hit OK. And then I save this as a Cinema 4D file, right, into that same folder. Great. And now we can open up Cinema 4D. This is where we begin the actual 3D animation part of our process. So if the first step was processing your footage, solving the 3D camera data, the next step is then animating a template, moving some objects, creating some simulations, making something kind of magical inside of Cinema 4D. What I'm going to do after that is I'm going to bring it back into After Effects. And since After Effects supports 3D objects and stuff, that might be a dream. Otherwise, I might have to send them a Cinema 4D file. So I'm not totally sure. They haven't sent me the documentation yet. So I know I would need to do this work anyway. So we're just testing it out. Okay, so now we're in Cinema 4D. It's so funny. I haven't been using Cinema 4D as much lately because I do so many AI workflows. So if anything, this is a great way to keep up learning 3D stuff. All right, so I'm going to crop the frame so I can see it better. There you go, so you can see the full frame. And then we're going to go to Open Magic and load in that file, Cliff Water, and then I'm going to load in my Cinema 4D project. Great. So now, if we hit the play button, look at this. You actually have your camera, and you have the same data. You can see the path that the camera took in 3D space. That's all the data that was solved from the tracking process. Blender does camera tracking too, so it can be done directly in there itself. That's true. You're right. You could just track inside of Blender. That might be even better in many cases. I'm going off of my experience using Cinema 4D and After Effects. Since I'm gonna end my process in After Effects, I don't mind starting there. But if you're gonna start and end your process in Blender, then just track it in Blender. So you can see I can scrub the timeline to kind of scroll through this happening and kind of playing back. And now is in some sense the fun part. You can start animating in 3D. Now, some people want to see their work. They want to see that background data while they're working. I mean, I know I'm going to do all my compositing in After Effects, but if you wanted, you can, you could build out some stuff now. Yeah, so I'm trying to think about what the best process here. Let me think real quick. I think I'll just have the object appear from behind the mountain, and then so I'm gonna start. Yeah, what I'm thinking is we'll start behind the mountain. So I'm just gonna put some template geometry in here. So let's get out of the camera's view and look around our scene. There we go. So this is the rock. This is the side of that rock wall. And just for my own sanity, I'm going to add some template geometry. So there's a landscape tool, and I can enlarge the landscape data, pull up on the landscape data, and then simplify it with the width segments and the scale tool. And then I will pull on the geometry, and I'm just going to use this kind of like a placeholder mountain, just so that when I'm animating my main object, it'll be better. So I place it roughly where it needs to go. Let's scale it up, and then I'll move it down. Great. And then let's figure out what the sea level should be. So I'm going to add another plane object. We're going to scale this plane object to infinity and beyond. Okay, there it is. And then we're just going to scale this up. I'm going to treat this like the water, like of the ocean. And I'll even just change the color of it just so my brain ignores it. So I'm going to set this to blue. These colors are irrelevant, but they're just going to help me when I'm working. Okay, let's return back to our camera. All right, so looking at our footage, good. So that is kind of it. All right, now let's move this island so that it is actually properly aligned with, you know, our other footage and bits. Let's grab that. I'm going to slide this backwards in space. There we go. All right, let's see how closely aligned that is to the geometry of our actual footage. I mean, I know the mountain's a lot shorter. It looks like it just comes up maybe like a, you know, a little bit smaller. So we're just gonna go to the sea level or whatever, just kind of smooth it out a bit, and then grab the point on the top and just drag it down to kind of curve. So return back to the camera. Cool, and then we got that shot. Okay. All right, so this template geometry is here. Jitesh says, I learned so much stuff without even putting my hands on the mouse. Yay! That's the goal. I want you to learn lots of cool things and then make cool stuff with those cool things that you learn. Sweet. So we're going to take this. I might as well make another landscape for fun because it's fun. I don't have any other reason, so I'm just going to copy paste it. The reason why you might want this step is so that shadows look better. So here's what I mean. If you look closely at this scene, the ground here is quite uneven, and if I wanted to have some 3D object on this terrain, it's going to look kind of bad if the ground is perfect. Like, unless the ground is perfectly flat, then the shadows would look great. But since this is like kind of rough, I'm not going to meticulously sculpt all of this geometry, but what I will do is roughly create some static geometry to act like a placeholder for shadow catching. And I want that geometry to be uneven. So we're going to use that same plateau tool, but we're going to add sea level and then plateau level. Where's plateau? Wait. So I'm going to add a lot more furrowing, right, of the geometry. Then we're going to go to that top point, bring it way down. Then we're going to slide this. Oops. We're going to slide this closer to where that ground is. Then we need to increase the fine furrows. There we go. Great. I'm going to raise it up a little bit here. Let's go to the sea level, make it a little bit flatter, plateau level. I kind of forgot how to use this tool. It's like slowly coming back to me. We could play with the random seed, so it kind of randomizes the different island shapes. I guess we need to increase the sea level so that it's like flatter. I guess we'll just go really flat with it. And then I'll slide this up. Oh, that's too flat. Let's bring it up a little bit more. We want the bottom parts to be stuck in the water, but everything else to be out of the water. And then we'll just add some texture. And I mean, this is kind of correct. It's just the type of hill is wrong. Oh, there we go. Border at sea level. That's what I was looking for. There we go. So it's a little bit flatter. So it allows for some flat chunks. And then let's go to the scale up. Great. And then let's go to the fine furrows. Great. And rough furrows. I guess I'll still make it flatter. So I'm just going to scale this flatter down and then maybe raise it up. Then let's grab the sea level plateauing. Because for the most part, I do want it to be pretty flat. Like that's closer, yeah. Close-ish, it's not perfect. And I'll just add some roughening to that geometry. Okay. Cool. Cool, and then let's just lower it to the height of the pink level and slide that backwards in space. Cool. All right, let's take a look at how that feels from the camera's perspective. So now as we're like walking, you can feel that ground movement. It's almost like it's still, these divots are much lower than what the ground is. So I might make it a little bit finer. Let's refer back to our ground truth. Again, I'm missing all of this stuff. So I'm just going to be cautious not to make too much complexity here. I just want the ability to catch shadows on a rougher surface. You can be way more meticulous with this step and get much better results with your shadows. But I don't even know if I'm going to have a 3D object come up that close. I just want the possibilities to exist. We got a question from XLuckMax says, what 3D software would you recommend for a 3D novice who has only worked in 2D? Oh, man. I love Cinema 4D, but it's so expensive that I don't recommend it to people that want to begin. It is easier to learn than Blender. It's a lot easier to learn than Blender. But then again, Blender has a lot more features and power abilities. So you can go further with Blender than you can with Cinema 4D. But Cinema 4D is easier to learn. So based off of that, that would be my advice. You'll have to choose your character. Yeah. All right, let me slide this over here. Cool. And then go to landscape, scale, sea level. The sea level is looking really strange here. It's almost like I need the sea level to be close to the plateau level, and then we need to create more scale. That might be a good way of doing it. And then we need more detail in the geometry. But if there's too much geometry, let me go to display our lines. If there's too much geometry, we will run into new issues of when we bring this back together in After Effects. You want stuff to be kind of optimized. You don't want to have to break your CPU or GPU just to get a cool render out. All right, that's getting close. Let me just squash this. Actually, we might even just need to do a regular scale. Okay, so I'm just going to do a regular scale. Oh, it flattens it. I guess that's the only option, right? It would either be mountains or it'd be flat. Let's go back to the sea level control, plateau level, random seed. I like this one more. And then let's increase the rough furrows. Okay. Let me see how that looks. Cool. So it's kind of like we built a whole world. Do you like Unreal? What about for 3D illustration? Same. It's the same advice. It's dependent on what your learning curve is. If you learn stuff really quickly and you don't mind the payment, use Cinema 4D. If you're on a budget, use Blender. It's not that either the tool would be better or worse at what you're describing. It's more about the budget of the tool that you're interested in. Yeah. That is what I would say to that. Okay, so here we go. We have our footage with some rough geometry. Now it's time to load in our animation. So I have a very basic animation in mind because I'm just thinking of, single products. So let's pretend your product is this. Actually, I should probably just put a placeholder product, huh? Let's keep it simple. I'll start with a cube. And the cube is going to represent the product or service, whatever, that we want to showcase. So I'm going to make it taller than it is wider, almost like a cereal box kind of size. And yeah, we'll start with that. And then let me see, what is the scale? Let's jump out of our camera perspective. It's actually a pretty good scale by default. But I was thinking of just having the object start from behind the rock, and then it rolls around in a nice like arc shape. Like from a top perspective, this is what I'm thinking of having it do. Going from here, and then having it animate to about here. Like that's the animation I'm thinking of doing. So there's several ways to do this. The easiest one I can think of is to use an arc. literally a pen tool and draw the arc. So let's do that. So I'm going to go to the pen tool, and we're going to switch our projection method to a top-down projection of the whole scene. So that little triangle is the camera. That's our camera in the world. This is the plane that we're walking on. This is the location that I want the product to end up in at the very end of the frame. And then just north of that is the rock. So this big square is a top-down view of the rock. So that means being behind the rock is right here. So with all that context, we can click here as the start of where I want the object to be. And then we'll click to here for a halfway point. And then we'll make sure it ends right between the two areas, right around here. Okay, and then we'll hit escape. So what that looks like is just like an Illustrator spline, really. This is the shape. This is where I want the object to move. So let's take a look at what the arc looks like in 3D. Right now it's aligned with the sea floor. So we're going to grab that spline and just move it. So I'm going to grab the spline and move it up so that it's hovering in the sky. And I also want to tilt the arc so that it actually starts from like low and then goes to high. So we'll go with our spline here. I'm going to go to Edit Spline, go to Point Mode, grab the first keyframe and just move it downwards in space. Actually, I'll grab both keyframes and move them downwards in space, and then grab the first keyframe and move it all the way down. So you can see that the shape, it might be a little hard to see, but I'll zoom in here. This is the shape, this is the movement I want that object to go on. I really want to start from behind and then work its way out, maybe even higher it starts. So maybe I'll move it up here, and then we'll have it end right around there. Right, so that is what I'm imagining. Let's go to the camera's perspective and see what that looks like. So I'm trying to imagine the object goes up and then lands there. That's actually too high. I'm going to move this down. It needs to land a little bit closer to the middle of the frame and over here. And let me see, follow the movement. I think we can actually get away with a further movement out here. So I'm going to actually move this out over there. So it's going to go really like out and then come back in. So it kind of justifies the camera movement. Oh, but then the camera does a double take. So I could have multiple objects follow behind it. Okay. Now we got to align our object, in this case, our box. Just to make things easy on our eyeballs, I'm going to add a random color to the object. We're going to make the hero object green. Because again, this is not about what I'm making. This is a template. And so other people will be able to use my template for their own VFX videos using the new OpenMagic app. So here's my object. I'm just going to rename this your underscore model underscore replace underscore me. That way I just know that's what your model will be there. I'm just going to use a cube right now, a little rectangle. Now we need to align this to the spline. The way you do that in Cinema 4D is under the tags option. So you click on tags, excuse me, and then you go to animation tags. And the type of animation tag is called align to spline. Oh wait, or is it align to path? I forgot. I think it's align to spline because that's what I'm seeing in my head. If I'm wrong, it's align to path. But let's try align to spline. Cool. So we clicked on align to spline, and we chose it on the object that we want to do this. So we click on the align to spline, and now we just got to tell it what spline to follow. And in Cinema 4D, that's as easy as selecting and dragging that spline and just dragging it all the way down as the spline path. So you see it's like not selecting, and then you just hover over. I'm still holding down on my arrow, and I release. Boom. So now immediately our object is aligned to the spline. And if you don't believe me, we got to look behind the scene. So let's turn off the camera. And there it is. You see our green box is now perfectly aligned with the start position of that arc might be easier to see here. Look at that. There's the green box. Or I mean, you can't tell it looks green from this perspective, but that's the box, and it's aligned to the spline. Then what's cool is with the align to spline tag, you simply select it, and to animate, you just change the position slider on the spline. Boom. It's a little bit hard to see. Let me go to display, quick shading. So simply by doing that, look at that. So I'm going from left to right, left to right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right. This is what it's doing to the object. Left, right, left, right, left, right. So you can see how that animates on the path that I want it to. That's a key thing because it's about the object that our potential user is going to have. So let's return back to the camera's perspective. And now we play the fun game of trying to choose the right timing of when does this object come in and out of frame. So the simplest solution would be to start position there and then end it here so that it gets to 100% at the very end. This is the laziest way, but I just want to show you that. So if we hit play, the object would start over there and it would emerge from the sky and then it would go up and around and then it would make its way into the thing. Not bad for a start, but I don't like the timing of that. And also upon seeing this, I realize having it emerge from the water is going to require me to do a lot more VFX. If we look at our original footage of what we're going to be using it for, I would rather not do that. So I'm actually going to have it start off from a little bit higher position, higher than I initially thought, but the result will be easier VFX. So I'm going to select the start position and just move it to be up high, like maybe like behind the rock this way. And now we go, oh, it's actually too far. Let's start right behind the rock over here. And so it will emerge. And then we need to justify it getting to the right position in time. So we're going to use a type of method. Let me see. Yeah, because we kind of need to see this a lot earlier. So here's where the magic comes in. We're going to go to the spline path, go to its position, and we're going to switch to our animation keyframes. This is a type of data called a curve. And we can control the acceleration and deceleration of something by affecting this curve. So, in a nutshell, this is the speed of which that object changes from in time. So, if we were to grab the start of that curve and speed it up to this angle, the thing will now jump out really fast. See how it pops out like it's like boom. Whereas if we took that same curve and leveled it the other way, now it's going to take a second and like slowly pop out from the wrong direction. So it's really about identifying. It's weird. It's not letting me zoom in. Oh, there we go. Sorry. Now I can see the curve. So I always like animating in curves when I'm in these animation tools. Gives you a lot of flexibility and creativity that you can add. And keep in mind, we're only going to see the stuff that's in the highlighted region. We're not going to see the outer stuff. Oh, we should probably save our work. Let me do that. Let me save my project just in case something crashes. Okay, so this thing comes out, and then by here, I really need to have it already in the frame. So I'm going to accelerate it here to justify the camera following this object. See that? So now it comes in pretty fast. Maybe we can have it come in even faster by just sharpening this curve. So it goes like, whoosh. Actually that's kind of slow. Let me go even faster. Maybe less of that. Maybe a little bit more acceleration. It's all about slopes. So if I exaggerate the slope here, I don't like how slowly it's coming into frame, so maybe I'll have it get to there earlier. Oh, that's way too fast. So if it's like a vertical line, like it is here, this vertical line will be perceived as no time. Like I'm bad at explaining graphs, but essentially the more vertical the line is, the less time there is. So if you want something to be slower, you need that slope to change more gradually, whereas if the slope changes immediately, it's going to be so fast. That's like instant. Whereas this is like over a few seconds. Let's take a look. So it goes around. Yeah, I guess, what I just don't like is my camera movement doesn't really follow it very well. So I might even slow this down a lot more. There we go. So at least now it's basically in frame the whole time. And then we'll have it just kind of stay put there. Let me go ahead and play it back. So the camera's walking, and then we see the product. Cool. And then it comes into frame. Great. Next, we're going to adjust the alignment on the spline. So I'm going to grab the spline and choose tangent. This will actually follow the actual shape and curve. So now you see how that object, might be a little hard to see, but you see how that object now rotates at the same time as it getting there. So, we can almost have the back of the product be shown, and then we could show the side of the product, and then it lands there. Now you're also probably noticing that it lands very hard. It's very much like a start and stop. To fix that, we have this method in animation called overshoot, which is really expressed by overshooting past 100%. So if that value is 100%, all the stuff in between is over 100%. So that means it's going to go past its maximum. Oh, does not like that. Okay, don't do that. Take it back. We're going to go back to where we were. So we're going up here, and the object goes around, and it comes up around over here, and it lands. Maybe what I'll do is, I'm trying to think of a good way of doing this. Maybe I'll just have it arc in like that, so it goes this way. I'll make the product larger. Let's do that. So let's go to the object itself. Go to its scale controls. X, Y, Z. And I'm just going to scale it by 2 times in all dimensions. Might be too big now, but let's see. So now it goes from there. At least this way we would see it the whole time, but now the product is too large, so I take it back. Let's not do that. I like having it be kind of visible in the end here. Okay, so what to do now? We have the geometry roughly loaded in here. Now what we can do is add some secondary animations to this. So what I'll do myself is go to the object and add my own set of keyframed animations to its rotation. Oh, weird! It doesn't allow me to do any local rotations. All right, so I have a fix for this using a placeholder key, but I don't know. Maybe we should keep it simple for starters. I don't know if I'm ready to overcomplicate this. So if I add a placeholder like this spline, and then make this object that object, it will now be that spline. Then I'll make the object follow that spline. Oh, I didn't do it. Wait, did it do it? Wait, so this is the null object. And then, oh, sorry, I have the wrong thing placed there. Let's make this a child of the null. Oh, extra incorrect. I need to do it from the other layer. Sorry, I'm getting all confused. So we'll start from the end position and make this object a child of the null object. This fixes it. Okay. So now it will look the same, but the difference is now we have this object itself that we can animate separately on top of it taking the information of the spline. So this would allow me to add what's called secondary animation to the object. So for example, I want it to lead maybe with the front of its nose pointing this way, almost like it's being pulled. So I'm going to grab that layer here and go to that. Yeah, that's the rotation on the pitch. We're going to set a keyframe for the pitch rotation. I don't see the data for that. Let's look for the rotational data. Okay, here's the rotational data. And then, so let's say it comes in this way. And then maybe I'll have it swing that way. I'm going to set this to auto keyframe so that as we're working, I don't have to keep adjusting this setting. All right, so it's here, here. Sorry, I need to adjust the settings here. Okay, so it goes up to there. Whoa, I don't know what just happened there. Okay, let's fix this. So let's get rid of these keyframes here. Selecting just these two, go to that data. There we go. All right, so now we have a rotational slider. So let's say it starts off almost parallel with the ground. That might be kind of cool, right? So it starts off almost parallel, and then it rotates up, and then I'll have it almost swing its body. I forgot the shortcuts to jumping to keyframes. I know there's a hotkey. Oh, it's this key. There we go. Okay, so we go to this point, and then let's say we overshoot that way. And then when it comes back to here, we'll have it, let's see if it's going this way. Yeah, maybe we'll have it swing back around. And then when it lands, I want it to continue its motion like a big arc. And then land back in place. This is some really bad physics. I'll work on it, but this is roughly the idea. So these little curves in red represent the pitch rotation of this object. So I can exaggerate these curves by grabbing these two here and then holding shift or control to make these curves sharper. And so now it kind of adds a little bit more swing to it. Might feel like it's a little bit heavier of an object. I think that last one's just too slow to get to its final position. So let's adjust this a little bit. And that's too dramatic. So let's soften that curve. I don't like that timing. So let's set this back here. Okay, oops, and then let's go there and then swing this up to that way. And then maybe bring it back to 0. Oh, that's not 0. That's almost 0. So it's almost like we got to change the height parameter. Oops, on just the one keyframe here. And then we'll set this back to 0. There we go. So just adding all this motion, this will make for a great template inside of OpenMagic. Again, for those of you just joining, this is OpenMagic. It's a tool that's going to streamline a lot of VFX content on social media. So there's these templates, and someone without a 3D background can just go to this template, select it. So they literally can click this, and then they upload an image, and whatever image you load would be populated up there. That would be your image. And what's cool about that is, if you have a 3D background like myself, you can make these templates and make money on your ideas. Oh, hey, what's up, Ryan? Good to see you. But yeah, so you could select these templates and then make some magic. And I started chatting with their team, and they wanted to know if I could attempt to make some templates. So that's what I'm doing right now. I think 90 degrees is too far here, so let's actually start it a little bit lower. So it goes like swing forward, and then back, and then forward, back. I think that's still too extreme. Let's see. Got this wave form here. Let's exaggerate all of these bends just a little bit. I think this one is too high up, so we're just going to lower the extremeness of that one here to justify a softer little movement over there. There we go. So that kind of has that little bump there for it to rotate on. And that way when the camera repositions itself, we get it to a nice spot. Okay, let's take a look. Object comes out. We see the rotation. That looks good. Yeah, that works for me. I'm happy with that. Right? So that's the idea. So now we got to combine that template with the live action footage. So that's in principle what I needed to do. I could bring the footage into here. We'll see. Let me save the work here. And now we're going to start to consolidate this as a thing. So I'm going to first just export this whole scene out as an FBX file, just so I have that. Actually, no, I'm going to export it as a GLTF file. This is the file format that After Effects likes now. So I'm just going to export this out just so I have it. Worst case scenario, I have a file of this. Great. And then I'm going to delete all the things that, I'll delete some stuff that I don't think I will need, like the ocean or these planes. So I'm going to get rid of these planes because we have them already in After Effects. I'm just getting rid of their planes. And it's the same animation. Now it's just like, objects plus some geometry. Yeah, this might cause some issues now that I think about it, because the ground, I don't really need the ground. So you know what? I'm going to get rid of the ground too. Actually, now I think about it, I can probably get rid of everything except for this object, because that's the only thing that we need. It has the right 3D data, right? The camera moves properly, and we have the object template. I think that's all we need for OpenMagic to make some magic, because this green box will be replaced with anybody else's geometry. That's my whole goal here. So with that, let's take a look at just exporting just this object. So go to File, Export, and I will export this as a GLTF. It's an open source file format, and we'll just save that out as I don't know, box animation. Save. Great. All right, now let's go into back to Adobe After Effects, and we're going to load in our animation. So we can go to Import, File, and we can choose our, oops, I grabbed the wrong file format. I don't know what I opened. Okay, just imported everything. I don't need that, so I'm just going to manually grab the object that I need and just drag this into After Effects. There it is. So that's the file now living, that's the animation data living in After Effects. Now I'm going to drag this into the scene and hit OK. And hit OK again. So now we have something that's not working. Oh, wait, weird. I don't know why that's not working. That should work. What happened? The object is a 3D mesh. That's great, but it's not animating. So let me see what happened here. I think I know what I did wrong. There's a method called baking. Oh, Conscious Harmony writes, what are your thoughts on the functionality of tools coming from China? I've been liking a lot of the tools coming from China, like Kling for video generation and DeepSeek for having offline AI models running. I think they're functional. I mean, I use them. Conscious Harmony writes, what are your thoughts on the tools coming from China? Oh, same thought. Oh, you're repeating the question because I didn't see it. Sorry. Yeah, I think they're functioning. I mean, I kind of like the user interfaces that have voice accessibility. So I will probably still use a lot of the non-China ones until they have like better UI for me, which is voice first interfaces. But I've been able to run DeepSeek locally on an iPhone without internet access. And I can't do that currently with any of my other AI models. Actually, I could do it with Llama from Meta. I can do that with Llama. I can run Llama locally. But it's nice to be able to run a reasoning model locally because then it can do harder problems and stuff. Okay, so that looks good. Let me export this first as an FBX file. And then I'm going to re-import this back into Cinema 4D. The reason why is I find this is a way to bake animation. I don't know why this works, but it's a solution I've came up with. So I'll say this is the box anim almost baked data, almost baked. And then what you do is you import this back into Cinema 4D. And you see what it did there is it baked all the keyframes down. Oh, weird. It did it over... wait, what happened? Where is that object? Oh, there it is. S. Okay. So you see how this... I don't know why it's redrawing this at such a small scale. Command D, Control D, display. Sorry, I have to change the project display settings to tiny. Or maybe to huge. Okay, set it to huge. S. Okay, cool. So now this data is baked. And with this baked data, now if I save this as a GLB, I think that animation will come into After Effects. I don't know why it doesn't just know to do that. That's been my fix. All right, so I'm going to go to File, Export. Now I'm going to export it as a GLB now that the data is baked. And then we'll save this as, it's not almost baked, this is baked. Baked means it's like it's cooked. All right, so box animation baked. All right, now let's bring that GLB baked into After Effects. And then we'll drag that into our scene. And I guess I'll just hit OK. Weird. It's still not animating. And that actually surprises me because the data is in there now. Let me do a new composition from selection and see if it's just... I don't know. Huh. So that data is in there. I don't have any reason for why that would not work now. Let me go to File, Export. Let's look more closely at the file format. Baked animations, double-sided. All that looks good. Maybe I'll set it to GLTF instead of binary. I'm just going to rename some file format and see if I can just import that in. I'm kind of troubleshooting now because I'm actually surprised with the result here. I don't know why it didn't just read that object. Oh. Okay, so that one worked. It's a 3D object, but I don't see it playing the animation from it. Let me try it in this scene. I don't know. This makes me think I should just animate inside of After Effects and not try to re-import it. But I want to be able to use Cinema 4D for more advanced animation, so it's kind of important that this works. Weird, it's not animating there either. I don't know. That was usually my process. Maybe because there's no camera data in this one. Oh, my hierarchy might be really weird. So, dang, yeah, it's almost everything. Like that's the data that I would like to have in After Effects. I don't know how to grab the data. All right, sorry, I'm definitely running into an error here. I have all the data in this file. I don't know why I'm not seeing it now. I just have the first frame of the object playing in there. Is there some setting in the object itself that I have to enable? I don't know. It's a 3D model. This is how I did it before. I know the other option is to just animate. I could just animate in After Effects, but I thought I wanted to use Cinema 4D to animate because I can do a lot more advanced 3D animation in there. But I wanted to bring in that data. But it is totally not working. All right, I might need to refer to a tutorial myself. Let me go ahead and do that. YouTube. After Effects 3D camera. No, sorry. After Effects 3D object animation import. Let's see, animated objects in After Effects 10 months ago. How to animate with 3D objects in After Effects.
With only one.
I just need to see a few moments. That's reflections, environment, animation options. Okay. So you have your option. You place it in there. Okay, that's what's happening to me. The object's not animating. So what does he do to enable it? He's saying some words. Oh, the name. Oh, whoa. You have to change the name of the object. Huh. Okay, let me see if that fixes it. So let's go to the object itself. There is animation options. There's a name function. I don't see anything there. Let's get rid of that. Let's try to re-import this here. Okay. Animation objects name. It's weird. I don't see an option here. Let me grab the FBX file. Can it import FBX? Oh, no, you can't do FBX files. I'll try a GLB. Okay. So this was the file that had everything. And this one looks kind of correct. Might just be scaled wrong. Let's see what we can adjust. Okay, so animation options, there's a name, compositing options, transform options, reset transform. Can I scale this down? Oh. Okay, it looks like it's scaled 20 times larger for some reason. But now I have the data. Everything looks like it's working except for my main animation. Okay, we're getting somewhere though. We're getting somewhere because we can use all this data for stuff. But that's weird. So it's 20x the wrong size. All right, let's try to re-import this. And then drag it into the composition. I'm going to choose make composition size. Hit OK. What does that do? Okay, it looks like it's doing something. Okay, so I scaled it up. I don't understand what this is doing. I have the 3D data. Wow. Yeah, it's so close. I'm not sure what the issue is. I'm trying to make a template for OpenMagic, but I am running into some issues. So, I mean, I see the data right there. Under name, they have some cool settings. And then you can have your animations in After Effects. I don't know what I'm missing here. Okay, I don't know. I will simply try again. So I will try to take all of this data and bake it down to keyframe data. So I will go from here. I'll go to File. I'll go to Function, and then I'll go to Bake Object, and I want to bake position and rotational data. I don't want to create a copy. I don't want clean tracks. I just want baked data for all parameters. So I'll hit OK. All right, it says it did it. If that's true, I should be able to delete the spline and it should still work. Okay. Oh, it didn't work. Why is the spline important? I don't understand. I almost need like a null object to contain all my null objects. So we need a container for the container. So let's contain all of this into one thing. I'm going to take all of that data and then see if we can fuse it together. So go to Function, Bake Objects, all parameters. Yeah, hit OK. All right, it says it's all baked. That looks good, but the truth will be when you delete the spline, does it keep... No, it loses the position. Weird. What? I don't understand. I was totally going to use splines to animate. Export. Let me see. If we export this as a GLB now. Yeah, I'll export this, hit save. Okay, so I've exported it. Let me go to test if this works. There are websites called GLTF viewers. You can just drag in your 3D file and see if the animation plays. So I'm going to try that. Oh, weird. It opened up with Bing. Don't know what that's about. This feels like a virus. Okay, this one looks good. And then I'll drag in my object. Let's see if it animates. I mean, this is animating totally properly. That's all I'm trying to do. Yeah, just that. That's exactly it. I want to start from behind the rock, and then it moves around, does its thing. Yeah, a very simple template. All right, let me try this. That's what I needed to do. So let's just re-import the object. New composition from selection. Maybe I'm screwing up. I might be screwing up settings here. So what am I doing wrong? Object position while scaling. Do not affect. Advanced. I guess we're in meters. I think basic. Okay, let's see what happens. I don't see anything. I don't see anything. And this one doesn't have any animation either. Dang, I hit a snag in the process. I don't know how to get this animating. I'm doing all the steps I did before. Except usually this would run. I don't know what to do. The other option is I can run After Effects beta, but I thought this was built into the new version of After Effects. Dang, yeah, it's going to be a problem. I need to be able to load that geometry. It's just so weird that it won't play at all. Does it play in here? It's just like a frozen asset. Camera is playing, but there's no animation. I don't know. It looks great in here. File, export. Let's try GLB. Oh, I see the issue. Oh my goodness, it's hiding in plain sight. It's only exporting the current frame. Jeez. I think we fixed it. Wow. Fixed frame. All right, let me try this one. I think this one will work. I don't know where I saved it. Sorry, let me try that one more time. Whew. Okay, file, export, GLB. It's not set to current frame. We'll hit OK. We're going to make sure this is in the thing. Okay, and we'll go back to After Effects. Let's bring in the GLB. Load this into the scene. Hit OK. Yay! Okay, I saw it moving. Perfect. Wow, that was going to drive me nuts. Okay, we solved it. The solution lied in the ability to oh wait, is it still broken? Did I speak too soon? Oh, it might still be broken. Yeah, I don't see the object moving. Let's try re-importing it. Okay, so we have the footage. We have the data that has the animation. I load it into the scene on the first frame. I'm going to say do affect the position. Hit OK. All right, I don't see it moving yet. So let's toggle the animation options. I don't see anything under name. Dang. I think the live stream might have been a dud, folks. I made this feel so simple, but I don't know what the issue is. I'm totally surprised that the 3D data is not appearing to load. The animation's not animating. And I don't know what the fix is for that. I know I could just hand animate this, but I was trying to avoid that because I want to send them the Cinema 4D file. But it appears that we are running into an error that I don't know the fix for. This is the animation that I would like it to be. It's very simple. It drags around a line, and then it rotates a couple times, and then it kind of levels off. That's what I want to animate, but it's not doing it. So let's try this one more time. Let's go to File, Export. We're going to export this as a GLB, and I'm baking all the animations. That should work. I'm going to set this to GLTF. I have it set to meters. I don't know what this custom frame is. Let's just delete that. Animation. It says bake animation. I mean, all of this looks good. All of this looks good. I'll call this one please underscore work. Let's bring it back into After Effects here. Let's see, we've got the please work into here. Bring it in. Set this object up. I will click on make comp size. I just don't understand. Like, that's totally the object. It's just not animating. Sorry, friends. I don't know what the solution is here. I really want to animate this inside of Cinema 4D. I don't want to animate this outside of Cinema 4D. That's why I'm insisting that we work in here. But it's not working. Top beyond top PBWO Yon Nice writes, Don, watching your troubleshooting process is so encouraging. It really gives me hope in my 3D journey when I enter these types of issues. I'm so happy to hear that. This is part of the 3D journey. They say there's one word that's slowly trying to make me sanity. Blender. I think Blender would have been the right option, because then you could track it and animate it in one spot. You wouldn't have to work with this kind of translation process that I'm doing. But to be honest, I usually don't run into this issue. It's so weird. I've done this process so many times. I don't know what I'm missing. Everything looks like it's working in there, and then as soon as I go to export this, it's extra weird because it works in the previewer. Like, if it didn't work in the previewer, I would be like, I got it. I can try something else. But it works in the previewer. So it means it's just After Effects. I might even just restart it. So here's the previewer. And you can just like drag your file in, and then it should play. And you see how it totally works in here? That's what's confusing me. Is like, that's exactly the animation that I want. And I see that it works. I see that the file, so I know that the file format itself is not the issue. That's working. It's After Effects that is having troubles understanding what I want to do with this data. So we go back to After Effects. I'm going to restart it. Maybe it's as simple as that. This could just be a bug. So I'm going to save After Effects and I'm going to close it. Whoa, they moved the close button in After Effects. What? That's so weird. There's usually a close button right there. Wow, I've never seen that. They removed the X. Huh. Okay, so let's go ahead and reopen up After Effects. Maybe it's just a bug. So we've given it all the right data, and we know that the file itself is not broken. It could just be After Effects interpreting this. All right, so we're in After Effects now, and I'm gonna make a brand new project, and I'm just gonna bring in that thing. 820, 850, 849. Okay, so it's bringing the GLTF, and if I do a new comp from selection, the real question is, does it play back? So I'm going to set this to draft 3D, grab the objects in the scene, go to transform, and then move the position of the object until it works. Okay, I see an whoa. Okay. So this is the whole scene. I can move it downwards and upwards. The real question is, whoa, does the box animate behind it? Wow, even in this file, it's not animating. Okay, new theory. I think this has to do with After Effects beta. I ran into this issue maybe one time before. And I think it was because the feature was only possible in After Effects Beta. So I'm going to go to the Beta tab and then see if I can run After Effects Beta. Who knows? This might be the fix too. If this doesn't work, oh, XLuckMax says, I agree. You are so patient, Don. Thanks. I loved the process of making things. It used to take a lot longer to make stuff. Maybe my use of AI has made me a bit more impatient, so I think it's good to go back to some creative tools that involve problem solving and don't give you instant gratification. After Effects Beta would like to access files. Yes. Yes, that's what I'm trying to do. Okay, here we go. Wow, 1992 to 2025. All right, so we're opening up, hopefully, After Effects Beta. And I'm going to see if this is the solution to the issue that I was facing. All right, so we're in After Effects Beta. I'm going to go to Open Project and see if I can just run that old project file, but in the beta version of whatever this is. So hit Open. Awesome. So far, so good. Okay, so far, so good. So we're in After Effects Beta now. Does it work? Not exactly, but yeah, we're in the beta version. Our project file opens with the 3D data and stuff. That's great. So now I'm going to re-import my model into After Effects Beta and see if this works. So we'll go to Fix Frame. Let's drag this into the scene. I'm going to import this into my object here. Make comp size or whatever, hit OK. Okay, I see something off in the distance. Or wait, is that the same object? Let me hide some objects. So that is the object. And then if I go to the animation options, wow, it's weird. It's like it just doesn't store animation data. I don't know. Cinema 4D is looking great. I mean, I know I can rebuild the whole thing in Cinema 4D, but I don't want to do that. Because then I'll have to render it in Cinema 4D, and I don't want to render in Cinema 4D because that takes forever. Shoot. All right, I'm hitting a little bit of a wall here, folks. I apologize for that. I guess I will need to read the documentation and figure out file formats and things. This is close to the right idea, but man, I really thought that was going to work. The other solution is to use Camtrack AR, but let me just, actually, you know what? We need to rule out, is it just any file? Let me see if it's just any file won't animate. So if I were to go to like 3ds, or no, not to go to TurboSquid, I just need to double check. Is it any 3D file that's not playing back right now, or is it just that 3D file? So I'm going to go to TurboSquid. I forgot my login. Let me just go. I know I have animation somewhere, so let's go to something from last year, 2024. And where would I have a good three? Okay, I have an Iron Man thing, children's book, Sam 2, Runway. Oh, Simulon. I think I had a lot of animations in Simulon. Okay, so these are USDZs. Here's the Kunai Combo GLTF. Let me see what this one was. So this was an animation I made. It's pretty heavy. So it's a bunch of kunai knives. Let me see if this plays in After Effects. I just need to rule out if it's just that one file or if it's all files. So let's open that and then drag this into here. Hit OK. Okay, I don't see the kunai knives. Oh, there they are. So let's just keep scaling them up. And then let's just kind of see. All right, I don't see any animation playing in here. Okay, so I have the kunai knives in there. I modeled all those and animated them traditionally. Now I just want to see if they animate. Oops. All right, I'm sliding the keyframe section by section. Yeah, it looks like even the kunai knives. I mean, it's going to work in 3D, and that's great, but I need these to animate. I was trying to do something I hadn't seen, which was they already have 3D objects that can load in there. That's not the issue. I wanted to do something really cool, like animate something to bring my unique perspective to what I could offer. I know we could just animate in here, but I was really trying not to do that. Like that works. Like you can animate stuff right inside of here, but it's not what I want. We need something else. I'm just trying to do this super basic animation and have it load in. Let me look up advice. GLTF animation into After Effects. How to import 3D objects in After Effects. 2 months ago, After Effects import the ultimate no plugin guide. Great. Skip, skip, skip. Skip, skip, skip. All right, so they're just sticking to Blender, import FBX. I wonder if we should just do that. What if we just bring our object into Blender, export from Blender, and just bring it into After Effects? Maybe that's friendlier. So we go to export FBX, or no, yeah, mutant. Oh wow, they're loading multiple layers of animation right inside of Blender. Oh, that's for rigged animation. I think that's different than what I'm working on right now. I'm just trying to do baked animation. Yeah, because I'm not doing character animation right now. I'm just trying to do baked objects. That actually might be a solution, though. I could make a rig and then animate the rig. That would be such a weird way of animating. I don't want to do that for this scene. And then they're just baking their keyframes in GLTF. Okay, that looks good. GLTF animation. Okay, GLTF animations into After Effects. Just say baked Cinema 4D. I want to see if someone does it from Cinema 4D. 4 ways to import animated 3D objects into After Effects. Perfect. Skip, 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 skip. Import 3D sequencing from... All right, what do they got here? So that's a rigged character. Again, I'm not trying to rig a character up, just trying to keep it real simple. Okay, Cineware. I don't want to do Cineware. Import 3D sequence using element. Nope. Helium. Import. I guess we could try Cinema 4D Lite. That might work. I could import a file. Try that again. Let's see. Blender. No, not Blender. Cliff Water. And then go to Cinema 4D and hit open. Importing selected items. Okay. Cool. Let's get rid of the kunai knives and the GLB object and the please work thing and this. And let's bring this into Cinema 4D. And then click on show. Maximum Cinema 4D layer size must match composition and use default transform values. All right, I might have to end the stream, folks. Oh, it just worked. Does it animate? Oh, it does. Oh, okay. Okay, this this might work. This might totally work. All right, so this is actually a Cinema 4D file. I guess this would work. I don't know if this is the right approach, but let me click extract Cinema 4D data so I can play it back faster. And then live link is enabled. No texture shader. No pre-calculation. Viewport is set to, let me just set to current. All right, so now it's the template geometry. I guess this way would work. I haven't really used Cinema 4D Importer in a long time, but maybe this is the solution. Okay, and then I'll just get rid of all the, let me see, can we do live updates? Enable live link. Live link is disabled in Cinema 4D. Please enable it in Cinema 4D preferences. Try again. All right, well, I'll just hide the stuff that we don't need. So let's hide that and hide that and hide this and hide that and hide these three objects. So it's just showing that thing. Then we'll go to File, Export, or I'll just go to File, Save. All right, and now if it's saved, can I just refresh this? Would that do it? And so if we load this geometry up, we should have a template that we can use for the Open Magic platform. I see it thinking. It's doing its little thinking thing. And then we should have something pretty soon that we can animate. Maybe I should turn off shading. Okay, so let's set the current to draft. All right, I think that worked. So now we actually have our footage, and then my only question is, can I layer footage on top of this? So if I put footage on top layer, you can. Okay, great. We're on the last step then. Wow. All right. So we're going to go to pre-compose, and we're going to call this composite layer or comp. And on this comp layer, we're going to remove the blue. We're going to treat the blue sky like a blue screen. Oh, what am I doing actually? There's a new platform that is about to launch, or I think it's launched. I think it's launched, called Open Magic. And they wanted me to make some, this is it. It allows people to make really nice VFX content if they have no VFX background. And what I mean by that is you choose a template. So I could choose these three. There's a lot more if you that's coming. So let's say I choose this template. Then you can literally choose an image, and it will load your image into the world. Like it'll load your image in there. Or if you bring in a product, it will turn your product into a 3D model automatically and place your 3D model into the scene. And then you would choose it. So let's say I want that, create magic, and then it generates a video of your 3D object appearing in that world. So what I'm doing is, since Open Magic reached out to me because they like my VFX videos, they wanted to know if I could make some templates for them. And so I was live streaming the process of me trying to make a template. They haven't sent me their documentation yet, so I just have a theory on how to make a template, given that it's all 3D stuff in the background. But I was just going through my process of trying it. So that's what we're doing. And now I'm in the step where I'm compositing my final results, and I'll see if I can send this to them. So let's go to After Effects. We'll do Keylight 1.2, and then we'll screen color, key out the blue. And now we have just that sky removed. If we go back to our comp, we should have a pretty cool effect now where, oh, the comp is kind of weird. It's like half screened. Let's make it a bit more opaque. How do we do that? Let's see. If we go to screen balance and then go to screen pre-blur spill, screen matte finish, clip black, no, clip white, that should do, I think. And then screen softness, we'll go a little bit harder edge there, screen black composite. Okay, let's see how that looks. That's better. So now the object will go from behind, and then right when it's out there is when I will fade out my comp layer. Oh, weird. And it's also comping in a weird way. So let's draw a mask here. So it's only this top part that gets this treatment. And then, oh wow, it's doing some very weird composites. I need to see this. I kind of need to see it in real time. So let's undo the mask there. We have our comp layer, but I don't like what it's doing there. Okay, let me think out loud here. So let's get rid of this. I'm gonna copy this footage, paste it in place, and then go to Keylight. We're gonna remove the blue screen, maybe pull from a little bit lower mid-tone value. It's kind of removing all the blue from the shot. And then we got to go to screen gain so that we can get this object to be behind but not be seen. And then we'll go to the screen matte and adjust the, oh no, that's not it. Screen, there we go. That's close. Clip rollback, I don't know what that is. Screen shrink, I'll go there. So that's kind of like behind the object. And then what I was going to do is just fade out this object over time. So right when it gets from out of the frame, we'll start the fade out process to about here. And then we will just not have it. And that way it can go in front. Oh, whoa. Oh, sorry, it's at 8%. So 8% is different than 0%. Then we'll hide this other object because we don't need it anymore. And let's take a look with sound. Okay, so this is just my first proof of concept that I'm going to send to their team. I think I overcomplicated it for this first one. I don't think it needs to be this complicated to make a template. There's definitely easier ways to make them. And I'll just use this to get notes back from them and see if this is kind of like what they're thinking. All right, let me watch it in full speed. I mean, that pretty much works. And so then if this was a template for anybody to use, they could like see on the platform this shot, they'd be able to reuse it. And then that green object can literally be any product, anything that somebody else wants. So it could be like a good little template. I'll go ahead and send this to them as a proof of concept, see if this is the right page that they're talking about. And I'll need to find a smoother way of making the templates. But I think we got the idea. So I'll go ahead and export this out. Just as an image, just as a video, I'll export it. But the end result, I think, would be I send them a 3D file. Top writes, Don, what graphics card are you working with? Can you share? Yeah. Right now, I'm running the M1 Ultra chip from the on the Mac Studio. So it's called an M1 Ultra. It's a unified graphics and CPU card. It's worked really well for me. Yeah. I don't always use this chip though, but that's what I'm using right now. Okay, looks like we're getting a failed render. Oh, because it's the beta version. Are we not able to export? That would be terrible. That's always a possibility. Oh no! Was it not going to let me export? Okay, looks like it will let me export. We just got to change the destination to a different location. So let's set this to Cliffwater, save, and then please render. Cool, it's rendering. Whew. I thought it was not going to let me render that for a second. That would have been really unfortunate. Okay, so I got the concept made, and then, whoa, that was loud. And then I'm thinking what I would send them would probably be like this Cinema 4D file with all of these things unchecked. And so I'm just going to send this file to them and say, is this like template worthy? Is this like roughly what they're thinking? So I'm going to go to export this as a, I guess I could save it as an FBX because then they could open that up in whatever tools they need. So I'm going to save this as sample underscore idea of underscore template and save that. I think that's all they would need, but I don't know. I'm basically going to use this more or less to get feedback from them on what is their. I find it's always better than I like to show versus just tell or ask. I think it's better to show an example of what I think would be great. Like if all they needed was this plus this, then that will be great for my workflow. And then I'll just get better and faster at making those templates. Because I have so much other footage I want to do this to. These are some of the other shots that I would like to process in a similar fashion. I'll just show you a quick little glimpse at those. Here's some other shots. So each one of these has its merits, and we could use them to like impose more graphics and stuff and 3D objects. So that's the plan. I'm going to try to use these shots. These are all shots that I captured on my phone or with my Ray-Ban glasses, and the idea is to use them to kind of superimpose 3D graphics. Like this would be a fun one, going from here to there, and like having some cool giant object floating just beyond the window frame, and then having it like fill the frame. It could be anything. You know, it could have like a magic ship or something. I don't know. But that's kind of how I think about this. So I always capture these shots with the idea of making, can we create templates for OpenMagic as well? I think you can apply on their website to do that. I think that's what this is. OpenMagic is in a closed beta, inviting a limited number of users to explore our platform. So there is an open, I'll just put the link to this in the chat. I think you should apply for this. And then it's likely they're going to want to see what you've made or see what you could make, right? So if they see that you make VFX, then I don't see why they wouldn't want more people to make templates on their platform. Yeah, but if they look at your stuff and it's hard to prove that you can make templates and that you can do 3D, then they might, not reach out. But yeah, I think this would be one of the ways that you can apply. I put the link in the chat. Yeah, so that is that. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Creativity with Don Allen Third Live. Hopefully you learned some cool stuff tonight in these new processes. You can try out Open Magic, and we'll see what you got. Okay. Good night for now. I might be back. I might not. So let's just say good night for now. And as always, have a creative and productive day. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you all for joining to the very end. XLuck Mac and Sci Shop 20 and Top. Thank you, friends. Psyop says it was fun, Don. Looking forward to another session. Sweet. Top writes, nice job, Don, with 4 100 emojis with 3 hand clap emojis. Thank you. And then XLuck Mac writes, good night. Well, good night to you too. Have a good one, and I'll see you on the next. In the meantime, I would encourage you to check out their social media page. They have some good examples of what they are able to do. So these are like other examples of templates that people, I guess, have made. We showed them earlier on in the stream, but I'll just kind of show them again right now just to give you some ideas. So you can see a lot of creativity, but a lot of these will involve, getting that 3D data and then replacing a thing with it. But yeah, I think even building that would be really fun. I gotta figure out what the ideal format is. I don't want to have to use Blender, but maybe I have to use Blender. We'll see. We'll see. All right. Thanks, friends. Check out their stuff. And if you have, you can add those. What is this? Capybara takes a journey to the capital. I wonder if that's is that a 3D object, or is that an AI generated object? Who knows? All right. Have a good night, everybody. Take care. Peace.